Today, we are going to take a closer look at our poem, Water Rolls, Water Rises, by Pat Mora, illustrated by Milo So. So if you have your My Book, you need to get it out and you can turn to page 189, and that's where the poem starts. And then we are going to turn to page 192. If you do not have your My Book, you can pause the video and go get it now and follow along with me. Now, you need to turn to page 192, and if you have a pencil or a marker, it would be a good idea to have it so you can follow along with what I'm doing. Now, let's take a closer look at page 192 and 193. Now, on page 192, it says, "Water rises into soft fog, weaves down the street, strokes an old cat. Blown by the wind, water sails high. Tumbling cloud plumes curl through the air." Now, how many lines do you see in the stanza on page 192? Remember, a stanza is kind of like a paragraph. It's a group of lines that share an idea, and it's only found in poems. So how many lines does this stanza have? It has 3 lines. Go ahead and number it, 1, 2, and 3. Now, what do you notice about the length of the lines? How long are the lines? Well, the first 2 lines are short and the last one is long. What do you notice about the first word in the stanza? Well, it's blue, so it's a different color from the other one. Let's look at the stanza on 193. How many lines are in this stanza? There's 3, so go ahead and number it, 1, 2, and 3. So what do you notice here? Does it match the one on page 192? Yes, it does. It has short lines at the beginning and then a long line at the end. And then the first letter of the first line is blue. Does the stanza on page 193 look the same or different? So we talked about how the stanzas look the same. And why do you think the author wrote the stanzas like this? Why do you think the author chose to write the stanzas in this way? Well, it makes the poem interesting to look at while reading it. And the letter is another way to show where the new stanza starts. So by showing the letter being a different color and being bigger, it shows us, oh, this is where the new stanza starts. We are going to look at page 200. So if you have not turned there, go ahead and turn to page 200, and 201 is what we are looking at. Now let's reread it. "In storms, water plunges, and thunder's brash roar races through branches from lightning's white flash. Then water rests, drowsy in reservoirs. Its glistening silence shimmers like stars." What do you notice as you read the stanzas aloud? So what did you notice as you listened to me? They have a beat or rhythm, and that's an element for poetry. There are also a lot of describing words. We have brash roar. We have white flash, and you can underline that. How do the describing words help you understand what is happening in the poem? So how does brash roar, white flash, it describes the reservoir or this pond here as drowsy, glistening, that means a shining silence shimmers. So how do all those descriptive words help you understand what's happening in the poem? Well, they should help you picture in your head what the water is doing in the stanzas, and they show how water can be different. So now you listen to the rest of the story or read it on your own, and you try to find more descriptive words that help you imagine what the author is telling us about in this poem.